Morning, event sound buddy. Better dip that, otherwise you won't hear me. Event sound buddy, Rouser Radio, broadcasting from the White Hart in Lewis, and a very nice morning it is too. It's gone. Right, we've got everything to ourselves now. So we'll be looking at the papers in a minute, the front pages. Oh dear, we've got the Scottish papers for some reason. Why? Who knows? No, we haven't. We've got the right lot. Okay. All right. And it is right. Okay. My privacy's changed. Everything's got to change, hasn't it? It's been like okay for 2 years, but now everything's got to change. There's some little prat in the development department decided he got a brand new great idea. Oh dear me. It's going to be one of those mornings. So should we welcome it? Well, I hope that you've brought with you your wallet this morning, because everybody's going to be asking you for all sorts of donations. We're not. Well, we are, but not on this level. Indeed, the papers are. Well, hang on. No, the lovely Shannon has actually bought me some coffee, and I think that it's only fair that I have got up, and it's now I should have. I should have a cup of coffee. Right? I put the plunger in. Pipe, beep, 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 beep. Right? We have lift off. Right. It's poured. The coffee has poured. So if you got your own coffee there, take a moment and pour. Pour. I got a bicky. Oh, goodness gracious me. What more could a man ask for? What more indeed could a man ask for? Well, you could ask me not putting it where it's going to be getting knocked over. So, let's take a look here. It's the 28th of June in 2020. It is 7:39. This is Mirror Radio, broadcasting from the White Hart in Lewis in East Sussex. And we are going to kick off, I think, by, well, no, let's kick off as everybody does. And let's go breeze, because it is a bit breezy this morning. Go. breeze from Telecaster. I telecasted, and I'm happy to say that it leads us into rather a pleasant day. The temperature isn't going to be any better than yesterday, 19, but we're not going to get that much rain. And although the breeze is mooted and said to be gentle, in fact, there's no breeze at all at the moment, which makes me think the morning is going to be quite hot. So, uh, have a think about that. All right, let us all, with one accord, now take a look at what's on in the papers. I think we need to make sure that we've got the right papers. I don't want to give you the front of the Scottish ones. Well, it looks as if I might be going to give you. So let's see whether we can rectify that. I'm nothing against Scotland's papers, but it doesn't help our cause because we're not necessarily in. We're not necessarily that keen on finding out. There we go. All right. Right. The first one is now the papers have been very cruel, really, because what they've done is they've gone on with the headlines of murder, mayhem, and so on and so forth. And one has to ask Putin, is it true that, in fact, you are killing people who intend to travel by rail and that you actually bombed um, and shelled a train station in Ukraine and is come away smiling? Difficult to say. It is very difficult to say. But there is no question that when the Balkans get interested in a war, there is an awful lot of nastiness between the antagonists, and we can expect that the charge of murder would be laid against Putin and even broadly the Russian Federation. Will be here in the papers and on the media. Let's get them. Let's go after them in courts of law. Let's do all this sort of thing. The fact of the matter is, all those things are fine for retribution, but I'm afraid that it doesn't help much, and that this young man is facing a morning of headline trauma. Here we go then. The eye, murder at the shops, and the majority of the front pages lead off with this. The Russians hit a shopping centre in a Ukraine city with its cruise missiles, and it's killed at least 13 people. 13 people, and it looks as if there may be anything up to 100 who are injured. We won't know. They're still digging into the ruins. There is a picture on the front page of the Eye of firefighters attacking the inferno in the city of Kremenchuk. The paper reports there was a global outcry after the bombing of the crowded shopping mall in broad daylight, including from G7 leaders who described it as a deliberate, provocative and war crime. I'm going to come back to this a little while because how soon we forget. Um, right. Okay. Well, there's that, I suppose. There's a lot of people are sort of getting a bit feisty. They're playing around. Uh, it's not quite as, even though the headlines are saying murderer or murder or we'll take you to the Hague, is the headlines in the newspapers aren't quite reflecting that this morning. And whether there's something that has happened that we don't know about, so much the better, so much the difference. All right, the metro. Shoppers murdered by Russia. The metro carries up the same team. Now, at the Times, Putin will pay for his barbarity, the Prime Minister insists. And Boris is on his high horse and is determined that they are going to pay for this so-called atrocity. And in fact, I know that he spoke to some people who were able to, who wanted to put together a sort of a memorial to those who'd already died. And I don't know how far they got because I only knew him from, or saw him from following I think it's the Mini Vandals. It is 7:49 on the morning of the 28th of June. And there is a lovely man who is in charge of these ladies. What state, I have no idea. But he always pauses. He always becomes part of us. He always so gives us a second opinion on what's happening in Ukraine. And he doesn't pull any punches, but by the same token, he doesn't he doesn't give up easily, and he doesn't have some of the goods that we have. So yes, by all means, use whatever you take, whatever it takes. The Daily Express, a crime against humanity, and there is, I think it's 29 dead, an equal number murdered, or if you want to use that word this early on, that is petly, I don't know why. I did not drink excessively overnight, I assure you. I have no nothing to keep my tongue from the door, as it were. Like coughing up all over the place. Never mind. What we'll do is we will stay for up to lunch, and then we'll hand over to somebody else. But what we can do is we can make the low time available to those in the golden years, shall we say, and they call themselves the Golden Gate. Uh, to PC Radley, was it? Anyway, I have difficulty in getting the sauce and the chicken, whatever. Were complimented. They were very nice. There was no problem there. Okay, the Daily Express, crime against humanity. Crime against humanity. And the Express Leeds is naturally supporter of crime after an attack on civilians, which he said shows the duty of everyday official. The paper notes, this is the Daily Express notes, that at least, and there's no more dangling around, we've all got what we allow to plugging into lights and bits and pieces that people can use. Anyway, crime against humanity, that's what the Express says, and I expect it to come down heavy. It leads with Boris's condemnation of an appalling attack on civilians by the Russian president. The paper notes that if at least 50 people come taking to us, we, that is her partner and herself, will start to tap up, get the pictures out of the way. I was going to say out of the picture. Oh dear, dear. And I'm feeling tired this morning. Can you imagine what it'd be like if I get just name everybody like everybody else? Right, the Financial Times. NATO buttresses the eastern flank by its determination. 10, 300,000. 300,000. Some of the drips that. So let's say dips, the first one. I don't know whether they're drips or not. But they certainly got things going for us at 7 o'clock. And we had a jolly little party here. While we were waiting for this, the multiple facilities that they put to, but also to see if there is a way which I can get one of the little scooter things, because my legs are beginning to give out, and I need them badly. I'll have to ask. And one for Stephen as well. we can't do without you. Right, okay. The Oh, this is crazy. Never mind. We're back to tennis. The Daily Telegraph. An army chief, Ukraine is our 1937. No, it's not as frame. We need to do much better than that. Let's see, which paper is that? The Daily Telegraph. An army chief says Ukraine is our 1937 moment. Our 1937 moment. In other words, he's likening what we've got going here this morning to the first wit of the Omicron. And my goodness me, I am having trouble with my P's and Q's this morning. And into the studio has walked the indefatigable Max. You've no idea. He doesn't let any strikes get him down. He comes through the jungles, through the rivers, through puddles of mud, just to get here on time. God bless him. Good morning.
And this morning was a 2-hour bus ride again.
Oh, well, there we are. Hello, good morning.
Just someone that works here.
Just shout at reception. Yeah. Hello. And then come and be interviewed on television. Right, so this shows exactly what's happening. Settle yourself in. You've got a bit of time yet. But Max doesn't let anything stop him, believe me. He's a young man that if all young men are like him, the future of the nation is in good hands. Because at the moment, the people that are in charge, who were his age 20 years ago, are absolutely awful. They've got us tied up, bound up, bounced out. There is nothing good about the people that are running our society at the moment. So let's hope that Max is the head of a new and different approach.
The difference is I was raised well.
Well, there you are. It's raised well. And actually, I think there's a lot to be said for that. Right, okay. Let's play some music. Where are we? It's 7:56. Yes, 7:56. What should we play? Down with your get up. I love this one. And this is the Mini Vandals. Down with your get up. And that's from the Mini Vandals. And why shouldn't it be? After all, the music that we play on this is very esoteric and something you probably won't hear in too many other places. So enjoy it because some of it is okay. It's catchy. Catchy, catchy, catchy. The Daily Telegraph is Army Chief, Ukraine is our 1937 moment. Now, what does he mean by that? The head of Britain's armed forces has described the Russian-Ukraine war as a 1937 moment for the UK, comparing the invasion with the rise of Nazi Germany, and the Daily Telegraph reports General Sir Patrick Sanders said there that more British troops must be ready for conflict at any moment, in remarks that will put pressure on Prime Minister Boris Johnson to maintain the size of the UK military. That's what he's saying. That's what's reported as he's saying. Yeah, I mean, we do tend to, in what we call peace times, let the military go. And then suddenly he comes back and smacks us. Well, there we go. We just have to be prepared for that. Right. Now, before I go on, I'm going to ask young Max here what the weather is like out there.
Well, even the sleep I got this morning, I wasn't even wearing my jacket. It was so lovely outside this morning, and it is still now. It's about, goodness, that can't be right. It says it's 19 degrees already.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me. There's very little breeze. You found that? Very little breeze.
Yeah.
No cloud cover. No, the
Blue
sun's
sky
shining.
shades.
And all in all, it's rather a pleasant day. So we'll leave it at that, I think. Right, The Guardian. What can we expect from The Guardian? The prospect of the strike grows as doctors eye a 30% pay deal. Oh my goodness me. I mean, I'm sure that a lot of doctors do a very good job. But the fact is that everybody, and mainly, of course, the thing with the trades unions is that their leaders don't ever do any work. They don't actually go out and get onto the coalface. They sit in an office and they call the shots from there. So they really have any more clue of what's going on outside than most people. But what they do is they say, right, oh dear, the doctors haven't had a rise for 5 years or whatever. So what we want is to take it back up to what it should have been in our calculations, and that is a 30% is what they're asking for. Yeah, which is a lot. That's a big hike when you consider that others are negotiating over 7%. But the government, I mean, the doctors have got a good case, of course, because they don't actually get rises or raises as we know it. Of course, it's all based on fees, and since we're based on fees, we sort of understand the difficulty of comparing staff with the fee structure. But nonetheless, since the fee structure is set by the government, what they're doing is they're asking for an extra, 28% on top of their original suggestion. Right, okay. The Daily Mail is doctors demand 30% pay increase. Swam, bam, thank you, ma'am. It hits you in a big, bold headline about the doctors and about pay increases generally. And the Mail, which is a pretty hard-hitting newspaper, it says that the possible walkouts of doctors could take place within months if ministers do not meet the doctors' demands. the paper says delegates cheered in favour of industrial action at the BMA, British Medical Association's conference, and where some doctors also praised railway and airport workers for their militant stance over strikes. So there you are. It's not exactly just one man and his dog who wants to go out on strike. Everybody does. The Mirror. Helen's killer takes secrets to the grave. Now, the Mirror, and perhaps it's setting us right. It's actually making us realise that nothing is standalone. That we all get bits and pieces that collude within our lives. I can put it that way. And Helen's killer takes secrets to the grave. The killer of Helen McCourt has died without revealing where he hid her body. And the Daily Mirror says that it is a despicable thing to do, and that we must find her body and give a certain closure to what's going on. So Helen's killer takes the secrets to the grave, which is pretty nice of him too. You wonder where the hell these guys come from. The Daily Star and the Star and the Sun and the Moon and never mind. Oh, don't start me singing at this hour of the morning. It's 8:06, by the way, for those people who like to keep tabs on the time. Turn that ruddy light out, says the headline in the Star. And millions of people could be paid to sit in the dark to save energy. It's suggesting that the government is going to pay people to sit in the dark so that at home they are not getting too bright a situation and less spoiling the good things that everybody else is doing. So if you want to, I'll keep an eye on that. If you're out of funds, out of food, out of booze, there is an alternative, and it would be very, very difficult. Where are we? Yeah, I just popped the bushes in my mouth. That's why I'm trying to understand what I'm saying. Okay. Right, okay. Now, we only got 4 or 5 minutes left. I shall play something else because that's what this is all about here. Let's play kind of a party. That's good. mini vandals, and a kind of a party. Uh, I like these little jigs that we've got, and the more I play them, the more I like them. So I hope that you are in the same position. Now, we've gone through the main newspapers, and before we go, we really should report on the back pages, because for once it's a lot of good news for England. In the tennis, Andy Murray went through. It was a bit of a tight squeeze, but he did it. And Emma Raducanu, she got through without any problem at all. And the test match, England came from behind and scored so much. I don't know what the scores were, but they won by, I think it was 5 wickets. Um, so lots of people sort of saying nice things at an international level about our sports people right at the moment. Mind you, all you've got to do is to have them lose something. You watch the same people who are staring them will actually say no thanks, no more. It is 11 minutes past 8 o'clock on the 28th of June and in the year 2022. Now, the headlines in the newspapers are all about the bombing of the open market in Ukraine. And I actually went back into my files because I needed to know what year it was, and I think it was 1995. That the Bosnian Serbs bombed and shelled, along with the Serbian army, the open market in Sarajevo, and they killed 90 people and injured a dozen. How many they killed? Everyone knows. The one in Ukraine is, I think it's only so far. Don't want to sound callous, but so far it's only killed about 20 or so people. But here it is. It's a crime against society and so on and so forth. Well, was the one in Bosnia, in Sarajevo, a crime against um, humanity? I think it was. And in fact, once again, for some reason, I'm always there when you need me to be in various places. But I spent a year and a half in Sarajevo. I mean, I went there many times, but I spent a year and a half permanently in Sarajevo, and I used that market very frequently. And I have to say that it is a little bit of an eerie feeling, knowing that the place has been bombed and that it could happen again. And indeed, it was the second time that it was bombed that was the worst. And one of the interesting things about the conflict in Sarajevo was that Sarajevo nestles in a little horseshoe range of mountains, and it is like a turkey coop. All that the Serbs had to do was to sit behind the mountains where they couldn't be seen and lob mortars into the town. And when you walk through the streets of Sarajevo, you come across little stars on the pavement and a little stud in the middle of the road or the middle of the pavement. And that is where a mortar landed and actually took a life. And it's interesting is that they are studs all the way along the pavement. And of course, then there was the dreadful situation with the open market itself and the people that were killed in that attack on it. The situation with the Sarajevo war, if you like, is that people weren't able to get out. You were trapped in a horseshoe, and you could feel the atmosphere very keenly, even though I was there a little after. the bombing. But it is a frightening situation. They still, at that stage, were digging up bodies from Srebrenica and some of the other places where they killed. And we've forgotten all about that. We really have. We haven't actually brought that to attention because it goes out of both the newspapers' headline activities, but also out of our minds because we had a cup of coffee last night, didn't we? We had a cup of coffee this morning. It's all very normal, except it wasn't normal on that particular day. Okay, let's see. It's 8:16, so it's almost time for us to leave you. The wonderful Max will be along with me in a little while to take you into television and to bring you up to date with all sorts of things. And hopefully we shall be visited by Fergus Wood to take us on another adventure into the world of wine. So there we go. Just the star. Turn that ruddy light out. Millions to be paid to sit in the dark. Oh, I didn't give you that one. That's a good one just before we go. Millions of people could be paid to sit in the dark to save energy. The paper says the cunning plan has come from some bright sparks of the national grid, hoping to make sure the lights stay on in this winter and amid the growing cost of energy costs. So what they're saying is, come on, let's pay people to sit in the dark and then it'll all come good. I mean, they're probably right in theory, but I can't see it in practice. All right, that's it for today. We'll be back tomorrow with Rouser Radio. Lovely to have you with us. It's 17 minutes past 8. Let's say toodle pip. Toodle pip, we can say it. Toodle pip. It's 19 minutes past 8. Get out there and enjoy the sun. Keith Hayes from the White Hart Hotel, Rouser Radio, and a good day and a good